Hello friends, what's going on, and welcome on back to Football Therapy with me, your host Jan. I hope you're doing well, my friend. I really do hope that. And welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily series here on the channel where I reflect on what's being said. And there's a lot about Chelsea, giving you my thoughts on it. More importantly, asking for yours. Now, disclaimer, I may have gone out for a few jars last night for far too long. So, I am missing a portion of my soul, and I'm running at about one cylinder. But I'm here! I'm here for you, dear sweet friend. And there's updates on The Athletic about Douglas Luiz. What? Yep. Don't know how I feel about that, but maybe I'll learn as I read about it. We'll learn about it together, and there is a update, maybe, possibly, on the situation with the long-term front of shirt main sponsor. Schrodinger's sponsor. We're sort of becoming Schrodinger's football club, really, aren't we? Also, don't you worry, gang. It has not slipped past me that we have finally acquired the illustrious signing of, checks notes, 17-year-old fullback Yisa Alao. Yep. So, yeah, we'll get into that. Don't worry. Thanks for joining me. Could you please consider helping me out with a little like of the video and subscribing if you're new to heal and soothe my wounds. If you are watching on YouTube, that's appreciated. The video is also available on Spotify after searching Football Therapy Podcast, and indeed all good podcast platforms. So thank you for following on those platforms and 5-starring on Spotify, because that is genuinely helpful. I wonder how many I've got. Football Therapy Podcast, Spotify. I'm searching into the Google now. And I have 5-star average, not even a 4.9, 654. Wow. Imagine if I go over 1,000. So thanks for doing that and helping me out. Look, I know you can't wait any longer. You've been quivering with excitement. I can see it from here. You want to talk about, checks notes, Yisa Alao. Alao? Let's get into it. Alright then, might as well do the accent. Here we go! Fabrizio Romano posts on X. Mario is an Italian plumber, isn't he? Yeah, of course he is. Yeah. Chelsea agree a deal to sign talented 17-year-old fullback Yisa Alao. Alao? From Sheffield Wednesday. Here we go. Initial fee, £500,000 plus heavy add-ons. Chelsea beat 3 top Premier League clubs to the signing. Now, the prevailing feeling here is I feel sorry for this kid. This should be a massive moment for a young man who signed for Chelsea Football Club. I mean, how often... yeah. Do you know what I mean? This should be a massive moment for him, and instead, this kid is like the target of just the Clear Lake Blue Co memes of, you know, us quite literally signing another under-18s that we've never heard of. Like, he's probably very good for those of you who watch Football League and know a lot more than I. You might be watching this now and be like, Jan, he's decent, mate. It's probably someone good to have. Fine. I'm going to probably... No, I hope he's good. But after I finish this segment at the beginning of this video, I'm going to forget he exists. Until I see him in a Chelsea shirt playing, okay? No disrespect to him. Congratulations for your big move to Chelsea. And who knows, maybe we beat the 3 other Premier League clubs. Maybe it was City, Liverpool, Arsenal. I don't know. Let's move on. Now, I must say, this came out yesterday. I was already drinking at this point, but this came out of the blue. David Ornstein, the big Ornmeister. Chelsea considering loan deal to sign Douglas Luiz for the rest of the season. This is interesting. Now, we'll find out what's going on. He was seen as an incredible player And he's been passed around like currency of late, which I would describe as concerning. Like, why is he being passed around loan, like lower echelon Prem clubs on loan? But we have liked him before. And maybe we do need that midfield depth. We're so into loans now, aren't we? Like, Buonanotte. We did loan. It was this ownership that loaned Joao Felix initially, right? So, they do like a loan. Is that because we're financially in trouble and can't sign players? And more on that later on the front of share sponsor. Ornstein writes the following, gang. Chelsea are considering a move to sign Douglas Luiz on loan for the rest of the season. The midfielder currently on loan at Nottingham Forest from Juventus. Like, he went to Juve and did he come from Villa? But high profile player, this guy. So, he's only played 13 times at the City ground since joining last August. So is Sean Dyche, manager of Nottingham Forest, looking at this guy in training thinking he's not really good enough to be an important player for us? Much like Brighton did for Facundo Buonanotte. And Chelsea comes along and thinks, this is perfect. Well, let's read. Luiz is viewed as a good fit for Liam Rosenier's side, adding quality and depth to their midfield as they challenge in the league. Hold on, pause. Challenge in the league. Challenging for 5th spot? Which is fine. That was my vibes. I was like, get Champions League while operating in the Champions League. That was my personal target for the season. But challenging, and of course, FA Cup and League Cup, Champions League, yada, yada, yada. Yes, we're in all the competitions still, basically. Excuse me. The Brazil international signed for Juventus from Aston Villa. There you go, for 50 million euros. Big bucks. Big bucks with a little bit of add-ons in the summer of 2024. Yeah, so like he's, yeah. But struggled to establish himself during his time in Turin. So he struggled everywhere. Yeah. I mean, what? Luiz did miss time with a hamstring injury earlier this season. There you go. But has only started twice in the Premier League since Dyche replaced Ange Postecoglou as Forest head coach in October. Luiz's loan deal at Forest includes an obligation to buy conditional on the number of appearances he makes, with the club also holding a 30 million euro option to buy if he does not hit that number. 30 million option, what's that? 26 million pounds? Great British pounds, not that much money. Chelsea have, of course, the world's best holding defensive midfielder. My words, but, Moises Caicedo, Enzo Fernandez, Andre Santos, Dario Sugo, and Romeo Lavia as their options in midfield. He's missed out Reece James there. Reece James is an absolutely top-tier option. However, Sugo and Lavia have struggled with injuries this season, with the former yet to feature and the latter playing only 7 times. Has Lavia played 7 times this season, or is that in his Chelsea career? Because I would not be shocked at all. Chelsea return to action on Sunday when we host Crystal Palace in the Premier League. Should Chelsea sign Luiz, he would not be eligible to feature in their final Champions League phase game against Napoli next Wednesday. But yeah, the registration opens again for the knockouts, so he just missed that one game. Chelsea do need more depth, right? Simon Johnson, the day after one Brazilian, David Luiz, was seen at Stamford Bridge again after 2 spells. They're looking to sign another, Douglas. That's a needless intro to this segment. Readers of the transfer deal sheet have been alerted to Chelsea's desire to sign a midfielder, and that their plans to do that could be moved forward this window rather than the summer if an opportunity arose. And this is the case with a defender and an attacking player. Well, when does the window shut? It's like very early February. Is that maybe 10 days, if that, left in the transfer window? And this isn't signing a midfielder per se. It's like backup for the season of 6 months loan, right? David Luiz. Douglas Luiz is not offering a permanent solution as the loan aspect betrays. There you go. But Chelsea do need more depth in the area, of course. Lavia, Sugo, yada, yada, yada. Lavia never plays, and he was a big money signing. That's pretty much me aggregating that to a shorter sentence. Sugo made 3 appearances in the Club World Cup last summer, but is yet to play this season. Oh yeah, in my head I thought he might have popped up a little bit, but he's yet to play this season, which is pretty wild. We signed him from Sporting, of course. He sustained a serious thigh injury early September, while, of course, with the under-20s, and he suffered a setback and did not return to training, which is disappointing, because he is a little bit of like a sort of mini B-Tech Caicedo, of the greatest of respects. A bit of a destroyer in the midfield, which is, we could definitely use in certain game states. It is partly because of this right back in Malo Gusto been playing regularly in midfield, of course. And this season, by Enzo Maresca, his replacement, Liam Rosenior. So basically, both this season's managers have turned to the right backs to play in midfield. Chelsea have a busy midweek weekend schedule at the moment, a stretch that will continue into the next international break if we basically don't qualify for the top 8 in the Champions League. We want to save ourselves those 2 additional playoff games. Douglas Luiz is a player used to operating Rosenier's preferred system. He uses a 6-6, which is very Tuchel. He also boasts a wealth of Premier League experience, having played for Villa between 2019 and 2024. That's a long old time. 5 years for Villa. And for Forest on loan this season. He's 27 years old, so there you go. There's your experience, 27. And has had 6 different injuries over the past 15 months. It's never like an open goal, is it? It's always like, oh, he's an experienced player. To be a Chelsea player, you either need to be a toddler or have a horrendous injury record. And then you're in. Ideally both. Like Amari Kellyman. Then you're super Chelsea. That's 6 different injuries in 15 months. Chelsea are taking this into account too. That's why the idea is make it initial loan only. Until he gets injured. Because they know he'll eventually just become injured again. Right. Let's break this MF down. I'm going to sip my coffee and pause the recording. Hold on. Okay, usually at this point, I might pull up Douglas Luiz on FBref, but FBref has been taken down, or is leaving. Is it down? I think it's down. I think it's gone. Is it gone? I think it's gone. Is it gone? I think it's gone. Is it gone? It's here? I think it's here. I know it's gone. What's happening to me? I'm having a brain aneurysm. Yeah, I think it's gone. So I'm going to find other stats websites at some point for us to use. In the meantime, we know he's a pretty good defensive midfielder that can sort of move forward. It's kind of box to box. You can kind of do all sorts, really. Let's have a little look at it. Hold on, let me look at this. Let's get his transfer marks positional profile page up, at least. Yeah, here we go. So, here it is. Central midfield, defensive midfield. Current market value, 25 million euros. Highest market value, 70 million euros. What has become of him? Oh, his contract expires. What? In the summer? Oh, wait, what? He signed a contract last year, and his contract expires in the summer. So how does that work? How do you have an obligation to buy with a guy whose contract is run out? Riddle me this. Well, I'm in no mood to try and work that one out. So let's move on and speak about the sponsors. Right. Back over to the Athletic. Bing. Chelsea's lack of long-term shirt sponsor. Is it a calculated risk? Will it pay off? It does look nice without a sponsor, doesn't it? But we need a sponsor. So this is Kerris Jones and Simon Johnson of The Athletic. I will read and we will find out what the ruddy heck's going on. Chelsea are outliers in multiple ways, you can say that again. Whether that's having the youngest squad in the Premier League this season when weighted by minutes played, or their proactive transfer strategy, which has seen them already agree deals for 4 new young players to join next summer. Yeah. Chelsea are also the only Premier League side without a front of shirt sponsor, and sources close to the club who spoke to The Athletic for this article, here say the line, who asked to remain anonymous to protect relationships, believe their unusual approach will pay off. Yes, well, they're not going to say otherwise, are they? Look, don't tell anyone that I'm telling you this because I'm an anonymous source, but we're all panicking over here, and we think we've absolutely botched it. Readers can be forgiven for a sense of deja vu. In late December 2024, The Athletic took an in-depth look at Chelsea's front-of-shirt sponsor situation, though there was a brief partnership with property company DeMac. Return out DeMac, which are the Dubai-based Chelsea-themed properties. I think both Eunice and George Benson have worked with them, I think, to end 24-25. Excuse me. No long-term deal has since been announced. The latest Football Money League report from Deloitte. Heck, we looked at this yesterday. Deloitte. It was the Deloitte graph. Sheds more light on Chelsea's revenues. Being one of only 6 Premier League clubs in the top 10 is positive, and they have achieved that without a front-of-shirt sponsor. However, they are behind Liverpool, Manchester City, Arsenal, Manchester United, and Tottenham. Wah, wah, wah. Yeah, Tottenham's proper a sickener, isn't it? While a lack of front-of-shirt sponsor is not the only reason for this, the gap would be smaller if they had one. Chelsea's commercial revenue for last campaign was £201 million, sits more than 60 million behind those 5 aforementioned clubs. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, mate. I mean, yeah. Sources at the club have indicated that talks with multiple parties are ongoing. I'm so tired. Do you know that song, Alan Stone? They still expect to have something in place before the end of the season. Come the ruddy heck on. We're about to hit February. Yes, like, I would put the farm, I mean, unless it's another DeMac infinite athlete situation, to get a long-term sponsor to just annex a contract along like a 5-year deal to the end of the season. Maybe it's just because the ineptitude seems profound at this point, but I would be so shocked that we get a sponsor soon. I mean, I'd love for it to happen because we are looking like complete knobbers with not having one. Before the end of the season, they write, Chelsea came close to an agreement with one company a few months ago, but complications around caused the deal to stall. They are still in talks with the same potential sponsor. I wonder if it's the deal one that became Arsenal's sleeve sponsor. I did hear that maybe that was nonsense, but I do wonder. Chelsea sources say they have been considering 2 options: agreeing to a proposal for the rest of the campaign and then taking it from there. There you go. Like I said, another DeMac infinite athlete situation, or a straight long-term deal. Naturally, which path would choose depends on the terms being right, but while fans and those outside question the lack of progress, people at the club remain relatively relaxed about the situation. They consider it only a part of their wider commercial strategy. Well, I did say these geezers, they came in here swinging their so-and-so, saying Chelsea was run poorly, that we need to sort this out, the money situation's bad, etc., etc. I'm going to sip my coffee, and to do that, I will pause the recording so there's no dead air. Right. Chelsea have not had a long-term front-of-shirt sponsor partner since their deal with telecommunications company 3 finished at the end of 2022-2023 season. Since then, the area of the kit has been sponsored by Infinite Athlete for a little bit and DeMac for a little bit. We know that. It is a marked change from the previous pattern, which saw successive multi-year partnerships, of course, with 3... Yokohama Tires, 3 good times Champions League winner. Yokohama Tires, Good times, Premier League winner. Samsung, good times, Premier League winner. With Ancelotti. Champions League winner. Between 2005... Oh, yeah, it must be. Between 2005 and 2023, Chelsea have only had front of shirt partners. Since the deal with 3 ended over 2 years ago, they've had 2, like, temporary ones, and it's been silly. It's been silly, my words, not Johnson's. Let's read on. It's obviously the club's biggest sponsorship asset. Joe Williams, director of London-based sports sponsorship company WH Sports, tells The Athletic. Okay. They're certainly missing out on a lot of revenue by not having a partner there, but I think they're hell-bent on getting the right partner. Aren't we all in life? She's out there somewhere, guys. There is a view that there has not been... that they have not been attractive to possible longer-term partners. No damn feels. On the pitch, their performance has not been consistent. Yeah, and also, we've just been a bit of a sugar show. A sponsorship expert speaking on the condition to provide anonymity, blah, 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 blah. Once he said, some geezer said this, when sponsors are investing the kind of money that Chelsea would have expected over multiple years, they would have wanted to see some stability and assurance that the club will be competing at the highest level, both domestically and internationally. Well, we did win the Club World Cup, to be fair. I mean, no one really expected that. Under previous owner Roman Abramovich, Williams said, sponsors knew when they were getting into with Chelsea, you're backing a club that's expected to be in the Champions League and competing for the top honours, he says. When 3 decided not to renew, they went into a phase of quite high uncertainty. Yeah, that's true. When 3's deal ended, Chelsea had just finished 12th in the Premier League under the new ownership. Bowley and Clearlake had only been in place for a year. Yeah, that was a dark time for Chelsea. Potter was at the wheel, and we were crashing and burning, and friggin' Aubameyang and Koulibaly and Denman were like getting changed in the whole way, and no one wanted to be there. And it was chaos. By coming 6th and 4th in the following 2 seasons, plus winning the Conference League and the Club World Cup, Chelsea could argue they're making the right kind of progress. They're back in the Champions League this term after 2 years out, of course. We're currently sit 6th in the Prem, easy for me to say. Sources at Chelsea insist the lack of front-of-shirt sponsor has nothing to do with on-the-pitch performance and say they've held off agreeing a long-term deal to ensure the best possible outcome. I didn't want to ask her out anyway because I am saving myself for a prettier girl. That's that kind of kid in the playground thing, isn't it? Like, yeah, I could have had that if I wanted to, but, you know, I've just decided not to. I don't know, man. It doesn't, you know, the optics aren't great if you ask me. Held off agreeing to ensure the best possible outcome with a partner that matches their status and is aligned with their values in terms of innovation and ambition. Oh, F off. Look, no gambling sponsors. You know, look at the ethics of the company, fine, in terms of where the money's coming from, yada, yada, yada. But, like, in terms of, like, values and innovation and aligned with our just shut up. Go and get a sponsor done. Make sure they're not a dodgy company. Get over yourselves. You could argue that Chelsea also wanted to get themselves into a position where they could command a sponsor close to the levels of where their peers at Liverpool, Man City and United are. And they were prepared to forego some of the revenue in the process, he says. By the way, Man United, it literally says it here, Man United Snapdragon is worth like 75 million euros a year. Yeah, it's like a record breaker, I think, although, like, yeah, because they signed such a long deal as well, but I know there was articles of Man United's Snapdragon deal. And Man United have been in the trenches for long things, fam, so, you know, they're still pulling out super deals. I know they're a bigger club than Chelsea, but, you know, we're still big as hell, you know? The expert continues. The expert. It reminds me of Ali G in the house when he gets his mates to turn up at the, what's it called? All the contraband players, we're his experts. The expert continues. They were prepared to wait, obviously, believed in what they were doing until they got themselves into a position where the story to a sponsor would be much more compelling. And you could argue they've done that. Fine. Champions League, Conference League, Club World Cup. Yes, tick, tick, tick. The fact that the improvements on the pitch did not immediately yield a deal before the start of the season is not necessarily surprising. I'd argue it is. I thought after that Club World Cup, that not that they'd be queuing up, but any previous conversations where we were close, I thought that would be the tipping point. You know, your sponsor gets to be next to a gold badge, you're world champions, we've just beat the quadruple winners in America. I thought that was the sweet spot. Now's where you close the deal, bro. That's what I thought was going to happen. Alas, it did not happen. Okay. He says, not necessarily surprising. I think everyone certainly expected them to have a new partner by now. Absolutely. But it's never easy, Williams said. However big the club is, selling a large sponsorable asset does take time. I mean, I'm not really necessarily buying what this geezer's selling too much. Why can everyone else do it then and not us? The anonymous expert to whom The Athletic spoke to estimated sponsorships of this magnitude could take up to a year from initial conversations being held and the deal being completed. Alright, but I don't know, man. How long is it? It's going to be a 5-year deal. Okay, there's a little bit more of this. I do kind of want to get through it. Right, pause to drink coffee. Pause to drink coffee. Right, supercharged, let's get through this. Scream if you want to go faster. A Chelsea source gave examples of how deals can be delayed if talks were being held over a long-term deal with an interested party and that party requested the club not have another partner, monogamy, in the field for the duration of the contract. It might be better to say no rather than, do that, essentially. Williams also points out that Chelsea have become more stable off the pitch, a little bit. There's been significant personnel changes on the commercial side of the club since Bluco took over, that's true. Todd Klein initially joined from Tottenham and was made president, yada, yada, yada. At the same time, Kasper Stilsvig, remember him, left the role as chief revenue officer. Klein is leading Chelsea's search for the front of shirt sponsor. Sources within Chelsea say the deal, their perspective is clear. There have been good reasons not to rush into a deal. I don't know, man. I think, quote, I think football clubs always been adamant about their status within the world of football, their status within London, their status within the Premier League, Williams says. I think they felt, why take a smaller number when we want to hold out for the right brand and the right number? Yeah, but when's this number coming along and when's this brand coming along? The logic, according to one club source, is that Chelsea are happy to swallow the cost of not having a sponsor because they'd rather do that than tie themselves down to a long-term deal, what they perceive to be their market value. Yeah, they're just waiting for the special one, And I don't mean Jose Mourinho, I mean an ideal sponsor. Chelsea sources offered their perspective and talked through various other revenues that can help them make up the shortfall. What's that? Buying and selling children on the market? New hospitality is launching in the Millennium Suites at Stamford Bridge. Great. One source at the club said it'll be worth millions. Chelsea are also working on other sponsorships, such as training ground at Cobham. Arsenal's London Colney facility is known as the Sober Reality Training Centre for sponsorship reasons. Right, well, whatever. I don't care if he names Cobham a sponsorship thing, whatever. The club have 13 global partners, a Chelsea source said. In football, what is better? One player who scores 40 goals or 6 that score 10 each? Yeah, nice analogy. We don't want the Erling Haaland, we want the, I don't know, another good team that shares the goals around. Chelsea earned in excess of 84 million for winning the Club World Cup. Yeah, it was a nice little financial boost, you must say. Chelsea are confident on hitting the revenue goals in the commercial side for this financial year season. One source indicated there have been improvements to gate receipts, hospitality, digital and retail revenue. They also indicated that retail results, which have been behind other clubs, have improved. Not having the revenue from the front of shirt sponsor is not ideal, but other revenue streams mean that the club is relaxed about the situation and want to take their time. There was the FPT stuff as well. There's a little bit more. I'm bored of this now. So, what's the big takeaways from that? That they reckon they're going to have a front of shirt sponsor in situ before the end of this season. I want to say, I feel that that feels unlikely. I would like it to happen. I want this, this nightmare to end. Release me from the nightmare. Release me from the nightmare. and I will be happy. So, have a bit of fun. Who do you want to have on Chelsea's front of shirt sponsor? Obviously, I dreamt of Nintendo. Not gonna happen. We've seen things like, is it Bank of America and like Tesla? Probably just because we've got American owners. Tesla looks freaking cool, but you know, Elon Musk. So it's very, very tricky. Let me know your thoughts. Please do leave them down in the comment section below. It is a longer video than usual, but don't worry, there's timestamps. Don't moan. Don't moan. Subscribe. Like and subscribe. And go over to Spotify. Watch a few seconds of Football Therapy podcast so you're eligible to give me a 5-star review. That's very nice of you. And I think that's about it, man. Take care of yourselves. Be nice to each other. And up the Chelsea.